Right, good morning and welcome to my channel, Jules Craft Room. I'm Julie and today is the second week of the crochet along, the trick or treat crochet along, and it's this lovely pattern here, Halloween blanket. And the first week we did the bat and the cat, and we did two of each in different colours, so I'll show you there. And we're going to add the wings and the ears to the bat at a later date, and this is the one for the cat, and we're going to add the cat at a later date. And my squares came up at 9 3/4 inches using a 4mm hook, and the size they suggested it should be would be 9 inches approximately, so I'm happy with that. It's pretty near. And so this week we are doing the 4 patterns along here, the 4 squares along here, and you've got a orange pumpkin, eyeball, a swirl and a skull, and we're doing 4 of each of those, and they're meant to be approximately 5 inches. I have done 1 so far, and I think mine is 5.5 inches, so I'm happy with that. So I think that'll all fit together because the big ones are slightly bigger as well. So yeah, so let's turn you round and get you started. Right, so we're going to start off with the spooky eyeball, and this is what it will look like. And I think we at a later date they tell us what to do about putting the veins in the eyes, but for now that's what we're making. And this is approximately 5 inches. Mine is 5.5, but you're aiming for about 5 inches. So you start off with a magic ring, and I do a magic ring by holding the thread like that, winding it round, crossing it over, then I put it in between those fingers to hold it in place, slide the hook under there, over that one, pull it through, and then through like that, and that is my magic ring. And now we're going to do a 3 chain. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do 11 trebles into the magic ring. So 11 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when you get to the end of round 1, you're changing colour. So before you complete that last treble, you have to join the green. And I like to join it with a slip knot because I worry about it coming undone. And then you slip stitch into the top of the previous 3 chain, and then you're ready to start round 2. So round 2 is 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. You're doing a treble into the bottom of that 3 chain, so into that green stitch, sort of going back on yourself. And then it says to do 2 trebles into each stitch all the way round, which will give you 24 trebles. So this is the next stitch, and you'll do 2 into there, like that. And then the next one, 2 into there. And you'll do that all the way round, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the last treble, you're changing colour again, and then you slip stitch into the top of the 3 chain, like that. And then you're ready to start round 3, and these can be cut off. Right, so with the white, we are doing 3 chain, you're doing a treble into the stitch that the 3 chain stands on, so it'll be just down there, like that. And then it says to do a treble into the next stitch, so that'll be that one there, and then 2 trebles. You start your repeat, which is 2 trebles into the next stitch, 1, 2, and then 1 treble into the next stitch. And you do that all the way round, so it'll be 2 into that stitch, 1 into that stitch, 2 into that stitch, 1 into that stitch, all the way round till you get to the end. And you should have 36 trebles when you get to the end. So I'll see you at the end of round 3. Right, when you get to the end of round 3, you should have 36 trebles, which I have, and then you slip stitch into the top here, and then you start round 4. Round 4 is 3 chain, again treble into the bottom of the 3 chain, and this time you're doing a treble into, a single treble into each of the next 2 stitches. That's 1, 2, and then you're doing 2 trebles in the next stitch, 1, 2, and you're going to repeat that all the way around, so it'll be 1 treble, 1 treble, 2 trebles in that stitch, 1 treble, 1 treble, 2 trebles in that stitch, all the way round, and you should end up with 48 trebles. So I'll see you at the end here with 48 trebles, and we'll be changing to the red. Right, when you get to the end of round 4, you should have 48 trebles, and we're joining the red. This row is going to be slightly different. Right, now it says to do 1 double into each stitch all the way around. It doesn't say anything about doing a chain or anything, but I've been doing a chain because otherwise I think it messes up your stitch count. So I'm doing 1 chain in the bottom of that stitch, and then I'm doing my double crochet into each stitch all the way along, and I find that gives me the right stitch count. So you go all the way along, and then when we get to the end we'll be changing to the black. So I'll see you at the end. Right, at the end of row 5, before we complete that last double, we're adding the black, like that. And then we're slip stitching into the top of that 1 chain we did at the beginning of the row. And then we're ready to start. Round 6, you do 1 chain. It doesn't count as a stitch, and then you do a half treble into the stitch which that 1 chain is standing on. So that's into that black stitch, and you do your half treble like that. Then you do a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So that is 1, 2, 3. Then you do a half treble into each of the next 2. That's 1, 2. Then you do a treble into the next 2 stitches. So that'll be 1. Oh, not pick them both up there. 2. and then you do a double treble into the next stitch. So that would be 2 loops round the hook. Another double treble, all into the same stitch. And this is your corner, so you're now doing 2 chain, 1, 2, and you're doing another double treble into the same stitch. Like that. So you've got 4 stitches in that one stitch. Now you're going to do 2 trebles, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. That's 1 in this stitch, 2. Then you're going to do 2 half trebles, 1 in each stitch. So that's 1 in that stitch and 1 in that stitch. And then we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1 in each stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to keep repeating this, so it'll be 2 half trebles. That's 1, 2, 2 trebles. That's 1, 2, and then you're doing your corner, so you're doing double trebles, 2 into the same stitch, then 2 chain and 2 more double trebles, all in the same stitch. And that's another corner done. And you can see how that's. So the next stitch you'll do 2 trebles, then you'll do 2 half trebles, 1 in each stitch, then you'll do 3 doubles, 1 in each stitch, and then the half trebles, the trebles, and then the double treble corner, all the way round till you get to the end. When we get to the end, I'll just finish it off with you. Right, so when you get to the end of round 6 and you've done all the repeats, the last 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, you should do a treble, another treble in the next stitch, and a half treble in this stitch, and that should complete the sequence. And then you slip stitch into the top of this stitch. There. And that is your eyeball so far, and we've just got one more round to do. So that'll be round 7. So on round 7, you're doing 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. You're doing a treble into each of the next 9 stitches. So I like to check to see where I'm doing it from. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because obviously it's difficult to see with the black, so I will be starting in that one there. And you do 9. And then when you get to the corner, you're doing 2 trebles into the corner. Then you're doing 2 chain, and then another 2 trebles. Like that. And then you'll be doing 15 trebles along here, and you need to watch out for that hidden stitch. So you need to pull that back, and you can see that hidden stitch there. And that's where you're going to do your first treble into that hidden stitch. and you'll do 15 all the way along here, and then when you get to the end you'll do your 2 trebles, 2 chain, 2 trebles in that chain space, and I will meet you at the end here. Right, so when you do the corner, you're then left to do the last 5 trebles. So the hidden stitch here, don't forget that one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slip stitch into the top of the 3 chain, and you're done. So fasten off, and there's your eyeball square done. Okay, so you just need to do 4 of those, and then you can move on to the next one, and I'll see you in a bit. Right, so now we're going to start the Scullington square, and that's this one here. And I believe we make it like this, so I believe they will give you instructions about doing the face at a later date. So we're going to start that. So you're going to start doing a magic ring, as you did with the previous one. Magic ring. And then you're going to do 3 chain and 11 trebles into the magic ring. So I will see you at the end. Right, so when you've got 11, you then draw in your magic ring and slip stitch into the top of your 3 chain like that, and that's your magic ring finished. And now you're going to do round 2, and round 2 is 3 chain, a treble into the base of that 3 chain, and then you're going to do 2 trebles into each stitch all the way round, which will give you your 24 stitches. So 2 in there and 2 in there. You do that all the way round, and you should get back to here with 24 trebles. Right, so at the end of round 2 you should have 24 trebles, which I do, and then you'll slip stitch them into the top of the 3 chain like that, and then you'll start your round 3 chain. You're doing a treble in the base of that 3 chain like that, and then you're doing 1 treble into the next stitch. That'd be that stitch there, and then you're doing 2 trebles into the next stitch, 1 treble into the next stitch, and 2 trebles into the next stitch, and you repeat that all the way round, and you should have 36 stitches at the end. So I'll see you at the end. So when you get to the end of round 3, you should have 36 trebles, which I have, and then you slip stitch into the top there and get ready for round 4. Round 4 is your last white round, and you do 3 chain. You're doing a treble into the base of that 3 chain, then you're doing a treble into the first stitch, a treble into the next stitch, and then you're doing 2 trebles in the next stitch. And you're going to repeat that all the way round. So treble into this stitch, treble into this stitch, and then 2 trebles into the next stitch. And you repeat that all the way round until you get to the end, and you should have 48 stitches. So I'll see you at the end and we'll be joining the black. Right, so at the end of the 4th round you should have 48 trebles, which I have, and then we're joining the black. And we're slip stitching to the top of the 3 chain, and then we're ready to start round 5. Now round 5 you do 1 chain. This doesn't count as a stitch, and then you do a half treble in the stitch which that stands on. So back in underneath that black. And then you do a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3. And then you do a half treble into the next 2 stitches. That's 1, 2, and then you do a treble into the next 2 stitches. That's 1, 2, and then you do a double treble into the next stitch. That's twice over the hook. You do another double treble into that same stitch. And this is a corner, so you're doing a 2 chain and another double treble into the same stitch. And then another one. So you'll have 4 together plus a 2 chain, all in the same stitch. That's your corner. After your corner you will do 2 trebles. That's 1, 2, 2 half trebles. That's 1, 2, and then 3 doubles. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you will do 2 half trebles, 2 trebles, and then you will do your corner again, which will be 2 double trebles in the same stitch, 2 chain, and 2 more double trebles. And that'll be your corner again. And you'll carry on doing that sequence all the way along to the end, and I'll see you at the end of round 5. So when you get to the end of round 5, you've done your corner, and then you'll do a treble, another treble, and then a half treble to finish off, and then you'll slip stitch into the top. I can pick up 2. Very difficult to see where they are, being black. There. And then we're going to start round 6. Right, round 6 is 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do a treble into each of the next 9 stitches. And I like to check to make sure where they are, so I count back from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know I'll be going in there. that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then when you get to the corner you're doing 2 trebles into the corner space, so that's 1, 2, you're doing 2 chain and another 2 trebles. Like that, and that's your corner. And then it says to do 15 trebles along this edge. So making sure you get that hidden stitch, pull back your corner and you can see that hidden stitch. So you go in there and you do, that's number 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, and you go all the way along, and then when you get to the corner you do 2 trebles, 2 chain, another 2 trebles, all in that 2 chain space, and then you 15, and then you do another corner, 15, another corner, and then you should just have 5 stitches left, and then join, and then you'll be finished. So I'll see you at the end. Right, so at the end of round 6 you've done the corner, then you've got 5 left to do. Don't forget that hidden stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you slip stitch into the top here and you're done. So you can fasten off, and you need to do 4 of those.